And welcome to the Business Spotlight. I'm Patrick Dewar. My guest today is Kasandra Vitacca, and well, she's basically a wealth coach, more than that. She's a good friend of mine that's been a wealth coach to me for a number of years, and I'm so thankful because her whole design and the desire of her business and her life today is helping others, especially her clients, reach financial freedom using the tools that she brings to the marketplace. She is a Stanford graduate for both her bachelor's and her master's, and has served a number of years in the professional world as a, let's say, maximizing employee productivity for larger corporations around the U.S. But now, in the last few years, she's found what I call the mix between her purpose and her passion, and has created a whole lifestyle of training others to reach financial destiny in a real special way. Kasandra, thank you so much for being on the show.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Well, it's a lot of fun to have you here because, one, I've wanted you on the show for a long time.
Yep.
Because I knew that your message and the things that you're doing are so powerful, so unique, and so, I want to say, family transformative.
Absolutely.
But before we get into all that, tell me your story. How did you actually create the life that you now live?
Like anybody's story, there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm not going to belabor all the points and all the ways that you end up kind of where you are, but it's kind of that perfect storm, and it really was. I think the easiest way to think about my story is I am a single mom, adore my child, I'm a working professional, I love my family and take care of people in my family as well, and had worked in corporate America for most of my career. I left Stanford and went into corporate America, universities, nonprofits, big corporations. What happened in the process of working for these organizations was I realized there was a lot of information that I had that was transforming sort of what the business was doing. And I knew that information could apply to me, but I couldn't find anyone to help me translate it to me personally.
Right.
Now, when you're dealing with, $30 million budgets or $100 million budgets, it kind of didn't fit like, it wasn't my budget, right? So I couldn't see the information that I was working with these presidents and CEOs and these board members, what I was teaching them and what I was working with them on, I couldn't translate it to my life.
Right.
But the reality is just take off a lot of zeros and it's me. So how I got here in my story is the fact that there were some things in my life that I knew I was not realizing, and strictly from a financial perspective, I was not getting sort of all the growth on my dollar that I could.
Right.
When you think about it, and this is an expression I say to everybody, there's more money that flows into you and away from you than you could ever possibly save and invest.
Correct.
Make sense?
Yeah.
When you think about the vacations and the educations and the weddings and the healthcare premiums and the mortgages and the cars, I mean, it's lifestyle. We're going to spend that money. But you actually can receive guaranteed contractual growth on those dollars. And I knew this from business, and I didn't understand why I couldn't do it personally. So in the process, at some point, I finally started asking questions. I finally started asking my financial advisors and others financial advisors, because I had a whole slew of them, help me out here. They knew some things, but mostly they just knew traditional processes.
Sure.
And it really takes a non-traditional approach to sort of what is traditional, and that's what I walked into when I started working with people at Personal Economics Group. Those are the folks I hooked up with. They're a whole group of independent folks like myself who took some of the knowledge that I already had and put it in a way that I could understand it and go, there you go, that's me, and I could figure this out. And I became a client. Mm-hmm. And in the process, I honestly did not enter this profession because I wanted to. I entered this profession because it was undeniable that I had the ability and the mindset to help other people. And I had to go into this profession. And because I'm more of a missionary than a mercenary, it absolutely is my missionary calling. And it's been phenomenal since.
Well, I completely get that, because that's your life process. When you get into something, you dive in both feet all the way,
Absolutely.
4 feet under, 8 feet under, whatever, so that you're totally immersed in it. And then the one thing that's been really fun is to see that you've actually put yourself in a position where you're a national entity.
Yes.
I mean, you're on one of the best top 2 or 3 in your company, as I understand it,
Yeah.
which is pretty phenomenal for the amount of time that you've been in there.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. If you were to sit there and say, you know, for people that are out there right now and they're looking at their finances going, I sure end up with a lot less buck at the end of the month than I should.
Yeah.
What's a quick tip you could tell them? What do you think is one thing you learned real well?
That's a good question. A quick tip. People always want that, right? I'm not really a quick tip person.
Very good.
I'm a little more of Aesop's fables, the tortoise and the hare. You know, who wins?
Right.
The tortoise, right?
Yeah.
So the hare looks real sexy, right? I mean, the rabbit's real fun and real snazzy and gets there fast, but who wins? So there are no quick tips. There's no fast track to wealth. It's kind of slow and methodical, but you get there.
Well, I know that as we come to the end of this break, we've got a couple of other segments here. We're going to learn more about how you can begin the process of creating what I call third generational wealth. It's your own family banking system is what it sounds like. And I was so excited to be a part of that and seeing that process as I got to know Kasandra a few years ago, became a client of hers, and just like her, became a client, learning. It's a great tool, a great way to change your lifestyle to begin to prepare for your grandchildren's children. With that, this is the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. We'll be right back after this.
You can become a published author. Discover a system that will lead you from idea to having your book on the bookshelves. Bob Baer pulls back the curtain at the More Power to Publish workshop. Watch and learn how to follow the step-by-step plan to turn your idea into a published book. Learn more at morepowertopublish.com.